Hello everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Amitabh, a DevOps engineer and AWS community builder in a containers category. If you want to learn Amazon S3 in one single video, so this video is for you. So in this Amazon S3 one short video, we will learn what is an Amazon S3, how to create an S3 bucket, the bucket policy. We will see how we can host a static website over the AWS S3. We will also see the versioning of S3 bucket objects, the replication of bucket objects. We will also learn the storage classes in detail, all the storage classes. We will also learn the automation of the storage classes and the lifecycle rules. We will also see how we can enable the requester pay to do not pay as a owner, and we will also see how we can create event notification for the objects event happening inside our S3 bucket. We will see all the encryption available inside the S3. We will also see the cross origin resource sharing access for the static website hosting, and we will also see and learn about MFA delete enable or disable to delete objects inside our S3 objects. And then we have the access log. We will also see how we can make an audit records of your S3 events into the another bucket, and we will see how we can provide the duration based access to our S3 objects to outside the world and outside the AWS, my mean in the internet. And lastly, we will see the AWS access point. So that's all related to the AWS S3 one shot in a single video. This video is made for you to learn about AWS S3 in a single video. And also, there is one exciting news for you all. Whoever completed this AWS S3 one shot and post about their learning on LinkedIn, Twitter, kind of learn in public. So there is chance to win AWS credits that will help you to pay your bills of your AWS. So whoever completed this video, tag me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and few of them can get Amazon AWS credit. Yeah, this is the challenge and this is for you. So without any delay, let's get started. So let's learn Amazon S3. So it is used to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere in the world. And it is an object storage service that offers industry leading scalability, data availability, security, and performance. You can store any file contain your text file, log file, videos, images into it, and it has a benefit and a features like a data performance and durability, more durability than other files system. And there is a flexible storage options, like you can save the cost option using the storage class. You can transform into multiple storage classes based on your use cases. There is a security, compliance, and auditing. You can use the S3 for that. And there is a granular data control. You can manage your log activities, define alerts, automate workflow without managing any additional infrastructure. Use cases can be backup and restore. You can create your backup of your data in the Amazon S3 bucket. It can be used as a disaster recovery of your content. You can achieve any amount of data that is you want to achieve and archive in S3 that is not no longer needed. You can store there also. And there is a data lakes and the big data analytics. You can use S3 to store a data that can be used for the data analytics. And there is a hybrid cloud storage. You can use on premises and the S3 to make a storage gateway so that you can transform your data from on-premise to the S3 as like migrating data to the cloud. And both even you can use on-premise and the S3 cloud service to storage. And there is a cloud native application data. You can build fast, cost-effective mobile and internet-based application by using AWS services and the S3 store. And there are the related concept related to the S3. And if you are worried the max amount of data you can store to S3, so you can simply search max size of object can be stored into S3. So this will provide us that the Amazon S3 bucket can store up to 50 terabyte of data, but there is a single put upload limit 5 GB. So it has a multi-part upload concept. So you have to upload the content. If the content is greater than 100 MB, so AWS recommend that apart from those content, that if the content is longer than 100 MB, you should upload in multi-part so that the object can be uploaded, and if it fail in between, so you do not have to upload that content again and again. So you have the parts uploaded, so only you have to upload the failed part. So this is the limits and the size of that S3 bucket. And now we will see how we can create a bucket. Simply you have to go to the S3. You can simply search S3 and select this service, Amazon S3 service, and click on create bucket. And we have a general purpose bucket and a directory. For now, we will see the general purpose bucket, which is recommended for most of the use cases and the access pattern. And our original S3 bucket type, they allow a mix of storage classes that redundantly store object across multiple AZs and directly low latency use cases. This bucket use only the S3 Express one zone storage class, which provide faster processing of data within a single availability zone. So this is for the multi AZ and this is a single AZ. You have to select the availability zone where you have to create a bucket. For now, we will use the general purpose bucket, and there is a global namespace and there is a account regional namespace. Global namespace means the number of AWS account we have currently in the world. You are creating bucket, and from that means if you have created a bucket name A, B, C, D. Suppose someone own this bucket in their account, so you cannot create that bucket name. Means this is a global namespace considering all the AWS account, all the AWS region and locations. So you have to create a unique name of your bucket. That's where the global namespace is. And the account regional namespace means it is going to be stored in your account only, and it can have any name you wanted to inside your account, unique name inside your only account and a region. So it add a suffix like this after the bucket name that you have written. So if you have to use the global namespace, so it is going to scan all the AWS account, mean it is already scanned to like search that this bucket is already exist or not. If it exists, it will give error, and if it does not exist, it will create inside your account. So for now, we will use the account regional, so do not have to wait for any errors to occur. So we will use my first S3 bucket, and I think the bucket name should be in small case. So my first S3 bucket. So this is my first S3 bucket, and this is going to be added in after the this name. So it will look like this. I hope you understand. And even you can copy this setting from the existing bucket. And there is object ownership. Like you have to enable the access control list, who can access, who cannot. So you can accordingly select. So the object writer is the ownership or the object owner who create this bucket. Like I'm the owner, and I'm the like a writer and the owner. But for now I will disable this ACL access control list. Block public access for this bucket means you are blocking the access to outside the world. So apart from me, no one can access this S3 bucket contain and the bucket. So I'm blocking all the public access related to this bucket. And the Amazon S3 bucket versioning. So we will see this in a separate video. And there is a tag if you wanted to add like name first bucket, and there is a encryption that is also we are going to see in upcoming video. And in advanced setting you can see there is object log, and the if you want to store object using the right ones and the read many model, so you can use this enable and like you can enable it and you will enable this warm model. And for now we will just create a bucket. And once this bucket is created, so like our bucket name will be like this, we have my first S3 bucket, and this is the account ID, the region. And then now if I click on upload, and you can upload files or a folder directly. So for now I will upload one image like this. So if I upload this file, so it will be stored in this bucket. Destination detail you can check accordingly. So this will be the name. Even you can drag and drop the files. The permission, if you check, there is a public access not allowed. And the properties, if you check, there is a storage classes. So it is basically used for the pricing to like if you want to store the backup that need to be archived, doesn't need regularly, you can store in the storage class that is like a glacier or something that will cost you less than other storage classes. So we will just upload this bucket right now, I mean content. And once this content is uploaded, you can see, you can simply close, and there is a content is uploaded. And if I select this and try to open this, so you can see this is the image that we have uploaded. You can accordingly upload any size of image, like a 50 terabyte content you can upload inside the S3 bucket. And if you wanted to like go inside this and try to open like this, if you have to provide anyone to access, you can simply provide this URL. For now it will not work, it has to provide the bucket policy for the public access. We will see that in the later video. If you click on this, it's going to provide the access denied error. We will see this and solve this in the upcoming video. And till now, I hope you understand how to create a bucket and how to upload a content inside it. You can even download the content. Object action, you can simply perform the download, share as a pressure and URL. We will see all this concept in the upcoming video. And you can even verify the permission, your access control list. And there is a version that is also we are going to see in upcoming video. And yeah, you can see the properties and edit it accordingly if you wanted to. And there is a lot of concept that we are going to see in upcoming video related to the S3. You can manage the life cycle. There is a file system now, which is a new metadata. You can check object we have uploaded there. So you can accordingly upload the content that you wanted to. If you wanted to upload the folder, you can simply click on add folder, and you can simply go there and select this folder. So all the trust you have to trust, and it will upload all the content, and I will upload these files. And once all the upload is done, I will show you where it is uploaded. So you can see this old folder content is uploaded in the folder, and you can simply go there, open this like this. You can upload anything that you wanted to. Even you can upload your movies and the clips that you wanted to. It has a storage. And if we have to calculate the pricing, so Amazon S3 pricing, you can simply search and learn about it accordingly to your use case. So there is a storage pricing. Accordingly, you can use the like a pricing calculator. First 50 terabyte per month, it's going to cost like 0.023 per GB. So accordingly, it will cost you for the standard storage class. There is a lot of storage class we will see in upcoming video, and accordingly, it's going to cost us. So this is very interesting concept of S3, a storage class, to save our cost and the organization cost, obviously. And yeah, that's it for this video. So why we need a bucket policy to attach into the S3 bucket? So basically you have some contain inside your buckets. So this is what we have created previously. So you have a contain, and if I open this as I'm the owner, so it is properly like opening inside our browser. But someone goes and I have provided this object URL. Even I cannot open this URL as there is an access denied error for the object. So this is where we create a bucket policy to add access of this or contained inside our bucket to anyone. They can visit our bucket contain and use it. So if So if you want to provide access to your bucket, you can use a bucket policy to provide, because when you open like this, like you go into your bucket and click on this and click on open, it has some pre-signed URL content that allow us to open this content. But this contain, if you go inside it and provide the object URL, this is very short URL compared to this URL, like this URL, and this is very short URL. So this URL is not pre-signed with the AWS credentials, so that we are cannot access that. To access that, we have to provide the permission or kind of bucket policy we have to attach to this bucket. So for that, you have to go to the permission. In permission, first you have to block the public access. You have to turn off that. Previously we have on, like we have turned on this, but now if you have to provide the public access, you have to turn off this option. But for your production content or your data inside your company, you should first ask your seniors and the manager to make a public access. For now, for this demo, I'm turning off this option. I will save these changes. This is the confirmation that I know the bucket going to be public. And now we have to provide the bucket policy. On turning off only to the bucket policy will not solve this problem, as there we have to provide the get object policy, like access to bucket. So there is a bucket policy below to the permission. Now you have to click on edit. Now there you have to copy the bucket ARN, we need that. And there is a policy example. It will provide the use cases, several use cases. Accordingly, it will guide you to create a bucket policy. But for now, we will use this statement, like you can simply click on new statement, add statement, and even there is, you can simply search S3. So we are using the S3. And what action we want to provide, the get object, like making the object action public for anyone. And the resource is the object, and you can simply provide the resource ARN that we have copied, but provide the slash and the star after the resource ARN, like mean every all the content inside this bucket. So add a resource, and if you want to provide the condition, you can add it. And for the principal, just keep it like a star, like everyone. And you can name the statement if you wanted to, like public access. So you have this statement ready. You can simply click on save changes. And once this bucket policy is saved, now we have effect allow to anyone. Action is the get object and the resource on this bucket that we have created. And now if I go to the objects and click on this image, and now if I go to this URL, you will see that I cannot access this image without any pre-signed URL and any credential, just making the bucket contain public. So now if you have to provide anyone to access to this object, you can simply copy this. If for demo, you can open an incognito and just click enter. Now anyone can access this content. So this is how the bucket policy work. You can accordingly create a bucket policy to provide access to anyone or any AWS account that you wanted to. Generally we do not turn off the public access if the content is not related to the public, but this is the steps to create a bucket and the content making public inside it using the permissions tab. So all the content inside this bucket, our bucket is this. So all the content is can be accessed via this object URL, because we have used the slash star. So that's the use case of that. If I try to open any another image, so just wait for a second. Suppose this image, if I try to open using the object URL, so you can see this image can be opened without any AWS credential. So we are making the content of the bucket public. So this is how a bucket policy work. In this video, we are going to see how we can deploy our static web page over the AWS S3. We will also see the features of it, the cost calculation of the static website hosting, and we will also see a hands-on demo how we can deploy a static web page over the AWS S3, and we will also deploy a test error page so we can check whether the both the static website hosting and the error handling is working. So for that, you need to go to your AWS console and log in into it and go to AWS S3 service. You can simply search S3 and go inside it. And now we will understand what is S3. S3 is a bucket storage service of AWS. It can store up to 50 terabyte of storage, and it allow us to store the objects like files and the images that we wanted to store. We can even store logs of our application. So you can use S3 and you can read more about it here also, and you can search about it in the documentation. But the motive of this video is to static website hosting, so we will create a bucket. So click on create bucket, and now we will create one bucket. So it's recommended to use the account regional namespace because it will going to create the bucket that is going to live inside our account only. So it will going to append this suffix over the bucket name that we are going to add, that going to make the name is unique. And if you use the global namespace, you have to make sure the bucket name is unique in entire AWS account lives currently, because the it is a global namespace, and all the AWS account and all the AWS region should have the unique name of AWS S3 bucket. If you select the global namespace, suppose you write S3, so it cannot be S3 if someone has created the S3 name in any AWS account and you don't know who own that AWS S3 bucket. So it's recommended to use the account regional, so it will going to provide the name if it doesn't exist in your account only. So we can name it as S3 static web hosting, and we are creating a general purpose bucket, which is a default bucket creation. And now we have to disable the ACL, and this is the thing that we have to disable because we are going to host the website that is going to be publicly visible on the Amazon URL. So uncheck the option and acknowledge it, as it is a warning and it can publish your data online. So that's why we are using the static website hosting to make our website public, and there is no need of bucket versioning. If you wanted to enable the versioning and track the website changes inside your file, if you modified the file, you can easily track the version and roll back to the previous version. And but for now we don't need that, so I will keep it and create the bucket. So once the bucket is created, we will upload the files and the metadata that we wanted to host. So as we are going to host the static website, so I will drop the all the file that is needed. So I will go inside the projects that contain my all website content. So I will upload all the files. So you can even check the permission and the properties, so you can modify the storage class based on your pricing capability. So I'm using the standard, and accordingly it will cost me. And even if you want to encrypt this server side encryption, you can enable and create key, but for now I will upload with a default setting. And once all the files is uploaded, I will close it. And now if you see, once I click on index.html and try to open it, so it doesn't load it with the styles and the app.js. So for now I will close this, and if I try to access via the object URL, it's still going to provide the access denied. So we need to provide the bucket policy that anyone can from the world can access the get object of the bucket. So I will open the link in new tab and I will show you this error is going to go once I modify the permission. So once I will go to the bucket, and in permission we have to write the bucket policy, that we have to add the new statement. And what we are using the S3. So S3, we need to select the S3, and what action we want to perform, a get object, so that anyone can get the object inside the bucket, whatever files we have uploaded. And we need to add a resource on which bucket. So this is the bucket ARN. So we will add a resource and select the objects, and we will paste this ARN and slash star, which means all the content from this bucket. So I will add a source, and we are ready with the bucket policy and just principal. So we are allowing all the principal AWS account and everyone to access this bucket content. So we will save the changes, and once this changes is saved and the block public access is turned off, and now if I refresh this page, you will see we can access the web page. But this is not a static website hosting. As you can see, there is not the images is loading, not the content is properly loaded, as icon is also not loaded. So for that, we are going to deploy this bucket contained as a static web page hosting. So for that, go to properties and scroll to the down, and you will see the static website hosting, which is a disable. So even you can use the amplify app if you wanted to make advanced application. And but for now, if AWS recommend, you can use, but for now this video motive is to static website hosting, so I will use to enable it. And later on you can see a video on the amplify also, so you can subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comment section if you wanted to see that video. And we wanted to host a static website, and we can simply write index.html, and we have the error.html also. And now we will just simply, we are use the bucket endpoint as the web address. We are not redirecting request to another bucket or domain. So we will just save the changes, and now we will get one URL of Amazon inside that static website hosting section. So this is the endpoint of that bucket where we can access all the files. And now if I open this, and you can see the web page is going to load, and we can access our website content. So this is how we can upload it and access it. And let me know why the images are not loaded. Yeah, so the image is not loaded because we haven't uploaded the asset folder. So we have to upload that asset folder also. So we have to select the asset. So this is the asset. Yeah, we trust this website, and it will going to upload the favicon and the hero.png, as previously it was not uploaded. We just uploaded the files. So now folder is also uploaded. So inside folder we have the favicon and the hero.png. And now if I refresh this static website hosted page, you can see we have the favicon and the hero png is uploaded, and which is active, and now is operational. And if you see that all the demo is completed, now we have hosted the static web page, and even we have the static endpoint. This is the URL you can provide anyone, and they can access your web page. And if we have to check the error page, so we can simply go and type any URL that doesn't exist, contact us. So it should redirect to the error page. So our error.html is also working, and all the images and the files is correctly uploaded. So the features are just like infinite scalability, anyone can access, and there is not like a auto scaling group. So it provides the infinite scalability, unbeatable cost. It is going to provide the low cost and very easy integration with the CloudFront and the SSL integration. And we can even enable it as the HTTPS, as it is not a secure, we can enable it also. Custom error handling, as we have provided the error.html, we can easily make the CI/CD automation to easily update this file upload. And even the granular bucket policy to get an object and provide public access. And even we can make the interactive calculation of the estimated monthly bill for S3 website hosting. And even if you have the storage size of the suppose 25 GB or 30 GB, suppose 30 GB, and data transfer out in month is the 100 GB, whatever you have transferred. Even you can use the AWS pricing calculator for this. And we have deployed our application, and we have even seen our test error page. So this is what I want to share with you all. So I will provide the all the files and the assets that we are using inside this video. Suppose the index error and the assets app.js inside a GitHub repository. You can go to my GitHub profile, and inside this there will be a AWS S3 static web hosting. You can clone it or download it, and you can try it at your end. Even I have mentioned this step inside the readme, and I will provide this GitHub repo inside the description or the comment section. Go and try it out, and let me know in a LinkedIn and the other social media platform by tagging me. So that's it. If you don't want that bucket, you can simply empty the bucket and delete it. And this is what I want to share with you all, and this is how you can make the static website hosting. So what is Amazon S3 bucket versioning? Suppose you have created this bucket previously, our first bucket. You have to go to the like a properties. Inside properties, we have called the bucket versioning. So versioning means keeping the multiple variants of an object in the same bucket. You have uploaded the screenshot, the images, suppose or any file. You have changed that file after uploading. Now, if you upload it going to be replaced, but you have want to track the what file is changed the content in our production, so you can make a track that this new version has been updated the production application. So you can use the versioning to preserve, retrieve, or restore every version of your every object is stored in your Amazon S3 bucket. With versioning, you can easily recover from both unintended user action and an application failure. So you can easily use this versioning for this use cases. So there is the bucket versioning is disabled right now for our bucket. And if you want to enable it, you can create a bucket versioning, like enable it while creating the bucket. But if you forgot to enable the bucket versioning, you can go to the properties of your bucket, and inside go edit, and you just have to enable it. And talking about MFA delete, it cannot be happen from the GUI console. You have to use the CLI. So we will see this also in a later video. For now, just enable the bucket versioning. But the MFA delete is like you have to provide the multi-factor code to delete any object inside your bucket. For now, you can just simply understand like this. Now focus on the bucket versioning. We have enabled it, like we can save the changes. And now if I go to the objects, there is one option is enabled, like show version. So this is like a previously upload, so the bucket version ID going to be null for the object that is previously upload without enabling the bucket versioning. But whatever the object we upload, it going to have the versions from now. Suppose I upload this screenshot, so this screenshot is going to have the upload, and then it's going to have the version ID. If I go here and click on show version, you can see there is a version. You can easily track and preserve this version for your production application. Simultaneously, you upload multiple files that is going to have the production and the version ID. Like if you have to delete this specific version, and if you have some deleted the file, you can easily roll back to the previous version. If I show you, turn off this option, and just like we have uploaded this folder, I think this file, second one. So if I turn off this option and just delete it, so it's going to create a delete marker. It is not going to delete permanently, so we can roll back that delete also. So if I click on that, so delete marker is created, means you can see the content is deleted. But if I click on show version, it is going to show the delete marker of that object that we have created. So this is what we have, the delete marker created that has the unique version ID. And you can easily roll back to the any version if you wanted to. Like you can delete the delete marker and have the content. You can easily download the content. And now if I show you, you can permanently delete any content if you wanted to. Suppose I want to delete this delete marker, so I can simply delete it. So it is going to have the permanent delete. So it cannot be restored. So I hope you understand how we can restore the any version that we have. So this is how you can delete a delete marker, that then the content is going to be restored into your previous version. Suppose you have a text file and you have modified the text file or a log file multiple duration. So you can track a multiple versions of that log file. So image use case is going to be tough. You can see we have that image rollback even after deleting it. So this is how a versioning can be used. You can even create folder upload file. So versioning is very important if you wanted to take a track of your multiple files and use it accordingly your production application. So this is what I want to share about the S3 bucket versioning. In this video, we are going to learn about AWS S3 replication. We will see how we can create a replication of content inside one bucket into the another bucket. We will also see the cross-region replication and the same region replication and all the concept related to the replication in this single video. So before we start with the hands-on, let's understand what is a S3 replication is. So suppose this is your S3 bucket, S3 bucket, and we have the content inside this bucket. So whatever the content you have related to your work and the project, so you have the data inside it, and for any reason you want to replicate the same content into the another bucket for backup or any related things like compliance issue or anything, you can search about the use case for S3 replication. So whatever the use case you have, so disaster recovery, you can create a disaster recovery for your main data into the another secondary bucket. So all the content inside the first bucket, it will going to be replicated automatically by creating the replication rule into the secondary bucket. So it will be act as a disaster recovery bucket. And second could be the global latency optimization. You can optimize your data latency, compliance, and sovereignty. Adhere to strict compliance. If your government allow accordingly, you have to store your data. And the live dynamic synchronization, this is for the cross region replication, that you have this bucket inside, suppose US East 1, and this bucket you have, suppose this is in US East 1, and this bucket you have EU West 1. So this bucket in North Virginia and this bucket inside our Ireland. So you can make a cross region replication also, even the cross account. You can even create a application into another account of AWS, and this is for the cross region replication. Same region, you have the same bucket in both the bucket inside the same region, and you can create a replication for that also. And for that, the use case could be the log aggregation. You can create a logs and environment and account isolation, security and ownership overrides. So there is a kind of lot of use cases for this S3 replication. You can search about it, even you can read the official documentation related to that. So I hope you understand what is the S3 replication is and why we use it and what can be the use cases for the cross region replication and the same region replication. In this video, we are going to do the hands-on with the cross region replication. So without any delay, we will go to our AWS S3 console. You can log in inside your AWS account, go to the S3 service, and inside S3 service we will create two buckets in two different region. So I will open the another secondary tab for the S3, which will create a bucket inside the, suppose, EU West 1. So this is our secondary bucket, just like our diagram, EU West 1 and the US East 1. This is our main bucket. So this is our main origin bucket, origin bucket. and this will be our secondary and the replica bucket that we will going to use for the replication. So same, I will create one bucket and I will use the global namespace. You can use the account regional namespace that will add the some suffix at the end of the name. So but for that I will use the this demo I will use the global namespace. So I will write S3. I will use my name so that I will get the unique name, as the S3 is going to use the global namespace of the S3 bucket. So S3 Amitabh, and the name could be origin bucket. So this bucket, I hope no one have inside the AWS accounts. So hope so I will create that. And this is very required step for the S3 application. You should be enable the bucket versioning for both the bucket so that you can easily manage the versions of your bucket, and this is required for the replication rule. I will just create the bucket, and I hope so it create that bucket. So the bucket is not acquired by anyone. So we have created the S3 Amitabh origin bucket, and for now I will just upload a simple file, suppose coffee.jpg. And once this is uploaded, yeah, this is uploaded and this look like this. If I open, so this is our coffee.jpg. You can drink that coffee. And now I will create another bucket inside our secondary region, which is the Ireland. Just I have explained inside the diagram. Create the bucket, and account will be the bucket namespace will be the global namespace, same S3 Amitabh, so that I will get the unique bucket, and it will be the replica bucket. So this is where we will store our replication. This is also we require to enable, which is a bucket versioning, and we will create the bucket. And once this bucket is created, we will create a replication rule. So for that, we have to go inside our origin bucket. In origin bucket, we have to go inside management. In management, you will see the replication rule, and you can read about it. You can use the replication rule to define options and want to AWS S3 to apply during replication, such as server-side encryption, replica ownership, transitioning replicas to another storage class. There are several actions you can perform. We will create the replication rule, and we can provide any name like demo replication, and status is enabled, priority is 0, mean first priority, and we want to apply to all object in the bucket. Source, we have the US East 1 source bucket, and the destination, you can either select a bucket in the same account, and if you have inside the another account, you can select that also. So you just have to provide the account ID, then bucket name. For now we have the bucket inside the same, like the same account, so we will just have to search the S3 bucket. So the bucket we have is the S3 Amitabh replica bucket inside our EU West 1. So this is how we do the cross origin, I mean, so this is how we do the cross region replication. Same region replication is very easy, mean same region, and we have bucket in the same region. This is the cross region replication demo. So we will choose the path, as the path is destination is the EU West 1, destination is the US East 1. So I hope you understand how we can do the cross region replication. I will create a new IAM role. You can select the existing also to provide the permission to the specified resources, and even you can enable the encryption for the AWS KMS using the AWS key management service. And there is a to change the storage class for the replicated object. You can change that also and select the option that you wanted to replicate the bucket inside the replica with the different storage class. But for now we will not do that. And we have the replication time control, like you can control the replication times within the 15 minutes, and you can easily modify that. And we have the replication metrics. For now we will just check the delete marker replication, what it is. Suppose in S3 bucket we have enabled the versioning, so once we delete any specific object, it will create a delete marker, and that also we want to replicate inside the secondary bucket, so we can check this option so that the delete marker also replicate inside the another bucket, so that we can make a track of that. So check this option. Even you can uncheck if you don't wanted to have the delete marker replication, but for now I will do that. I will just click on save, and once it is saved, so it will ask us for to replicate existing object, as I have uploaded one object previously without creating the replication rule. So it is asking for that you wanted to replicate that object also inside the secondary bucket that we have created, the destination bucket. But for now I will not wanted to do that, but it will create a one-time batch operation job for that object in the existing bucket, that to replicate inside the destination bucket. So if you wanted to, you can do for the existing object. So this will be the one-time batch operation. For now I will do not do that. I will submit that, and once the replication is created, you can see the status is enabled, and for the entire bucket, same as source and the same as source, which will be the storage class. And now if I go to the origin bucket, we have the existing object inside the current bucket, but now I will upload another file, could be the index.html, and I will upload this file. And now this file is going to be replicated inside our replica bucket. It will take about 10 to 20 seconds to for first time. And now if you see the version, like we have the version for the p.f, and the last we have the dh and the underscore. And this is how you can create the replication rule for the bucket inside S3. So this is very useful, as we have seen the multiple use cases on Google. You can even read the documentation, and this is what we have the replication object. And if I go to the replica bucket that we have created in the Ireland region, and if I refresh this, you can see this one content is automatically uploaded inside our replica bucket. We have not clicked the upload button to upload and select the file. These all, the name is different, you can check. And if I show the version, you can see the version p.f and the dh underscore, the same version id we will get. And I have also mentioned about the delete marker. Suppose you deleted the coffee.jpg that we do not have inside the replica bucket, but still we will get the delete marker as we have checked that option. So we have to turn off this show version. We will go to select delete. If you delete the object by on the show version, once it is toggle inside the on, so the object will be for the permanent delete, not as a delete marker. So it will just create a delete marker. It is not officially deleted. So if I close this and show the version, you will see the delete marker has been created for that. But if I off that, so the file is gone. So the show version is also going to be there also. So if I go there and refresh this file, hopefully within some seconds I will see that also. Yeah, you can see the delete marker has been created, and you can see the version lx and the ve in last. So lx and the ve. So this is how you can create the replication for the delete marker and the newly created object inside your origin bucket to the replica bucket. This is very useful. You can use for as per the cross region replication. This is the demonstration for the cross region replication, not the same origin replication. Suppose you have the bucket inside the same region, you can create like same method. You have to go create two buckets, go to management, create a replication rule, select the source and destination, and select the IAM role. So this is what the process for the S3 replication. I hope you understand the whole process, how you can create a replication and understand the concept, the use cases, and the whole demonstration was very easy. If you find any difficulty, let me know in a comment section. I am happy to improve whatever you suggest inside this video, and you can drop your suggestion inside the comment section. And if you wanted to delete both bucket that you have created, you can simply go, first we have to empty the bucket. So we had to select the permanent delete, simply empty the bucket. This was just for the demonstration, so you can simply empty that for the second bucket also. Once both of the bucket is empty, we can simply delete both of the bucket. And if we have to write the name of that bucket, you can simply copy, paste, and delete. Do not do for the production buckets. You have the data inside that, and you can simply select the second bucket also. This is the step for the second verification so that you don't lose your existing production content inside your bucket. So this is the step for the that verification so that you are aware, not in the uh, sleep mode, that you are deleting your content. So that's why the AWS have this step. And now we have cleaned all the both bucket. So what is Amazon S3 storage class is? So basically, if you go to the Amazon documentation, so Amazon S3 offers a range of storage classes that you can choose from based on the performance, data access, resilience, cost requirements of your workloads and your production application. The S3 storage class are purpose built to provide the lowest cost storage for a different access patterns. So S3 storage classes are ideal for virtually any use cases, including those with demanding performance, data lakes, and data residency requirements unknown or a changing access patterns or keyword storage. So based on your use cases and the requirements and the cost allocated to your budget for the any specific application, accordingly you can use the S3 bucket storage class to save your cost based on your use cases. So we will see all the available storage classes. So currently we have a general purpose. In a general purpose category or a use cases, we have a Amazon S3 standard, which is a default storage class for any bucket content. So it is basically offers the high durability, availability, and a performance object storage for a frequently accessed data that we want to access frequently, because it delivers the low latency and the high throughput. And the S3 standard is appropriate for a wide variety of use cases, including cloud application, dynamic website, content distribution, mobile and gaming application, or a big data analytics. Features is including general purpose storage for a frequent access data, that is also written there. Low latency and high throughput performance designed to deliver 99.99% availability SLA of your 99.9%. And there is unknown or a changing access category, or you can say the purpose. So it has the Amazon S3 intelligent tiering. S3 intelligent tiering also it called. So is the first cloud storage that automatically reduce your storage cost. It is going to reduce automatically on a granular object level by automatically moving data to the most cost effective access tier based on access frequency without performance impact, travel fees, operational overhead. And the S3 strategy tiering delivers a millisecond latency and a high throughput performance for a frequently, infrequently, and a rarely accessed data, and a frequent, infrequent, and the archive instant access tier. You can use S3 intelligent tiering as a default storage class for a virtually any workload, especially data lakes and data analytics, or a new application on user generated content. So the basically for the data lakes and a big data analytics, this bucket can be used for your storage data. And the key features is the automatic cost saving with changing access pattern. Infrequent, and archive instant access to your have same low latency and high throughput performance of the SA standard. Throughput basically the total data processed within a particular time of period. And the infrequent access tier saves up to the 40% of the storage cost. So there are a lot of features you can read accordingly going to the documentation. Next we have the high performance. For high performance we have the Amazon S3 Express One Zone a storage class. You can read for that also. So it going to provide the high performance single availability. So it is all only going to create a single availability zone if that availability zone is gone or if any issue, so the data is going to be have some issues with that. So purpose to build a deliver constant single digit millisecond data access for your most frequently accessed data and a latency sensitive application. So key features like high performance storage for your most frequently accessed data, single single digit millisecond request latency, improved access speed by 10x to reduce the cost by up to 80% compared to the S3 standard, and accelerate analytics and ML workload with Amazon S3 in service integration. And there is a 99.95 availability, so you can read about it that also. And for infrequent access that we don't access frequently, we have a two storage classes: Amazon S3 standard infrequent access and the one zone infrequent access. As the one zone represent the it going to have in one AZ. So for the standard S3 infrequent access, it is a data for access less frequently. It is going to store the data that is going to be store like access infrequently as the name suggests, but requires a rapid access when needed. But when needed, it going to have the rapid access. Suppose the sales is started, Amazon sale, so the data can be rapidly used, and if the sale is down, this data is cannot be used. So particular Diwali sale or Black Friday or something sale, so the S3 standard IA offers the high durability, high throughput, low latency of S3 standard with a low per GB storage price and the per GB retrieval charges. And the key features like infrequently accessed data that need millisecond access when needed, and the same low latency and high throughput performance of the S3 standard, 99.9 availability. And the another one, we have the one zone infrequent access is the data is accessed less frequently but requires a rapid access when needed. Unlike other S3 storage classes, we store data in a minimum of the three availability zone. S3 one zone stores the data in single AZ and cost 20% less than standard IA, which is infrequent access. And S3 one zone IA is ideal for customer who want low cost option for infrequently accessed data but do not require availability and resilience. If you do not want availability concern, you can use this storage class based on your use cases. These are the key features of that storage class. For the archive, you can, like, you don't want the data to be stored and accessed infrequently or frequently, so you can use a data store in data the archive category. So we have a three storage class, say S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval. So we have features for this like long light data that is accessed a few times per year with instant retrieval, and not regularly, not frequently, not multiple times. It is like accessed few times only per year. So we can use archive data storage class data retrieval in a millisecond with the same performance as S3 standard, the basic one, and the 99.9 availability percentage. 128 KB minimum object size is required, and the S3 put API for direct upload to the S3 Glacier instant retrieval. And the next storage class we have the Glacier flexible retrieval, formerly the S3 Glacier. So it has the features like backup and retrieval data is rarely accessed at low cost, 99.99% availability, support SSL for a data in transit. It has the encryption and transition. So we have the ideal for backup and a disaster recovery use case when large sets of data occasionally need to be retrieved in a minutes without concern of the cost. So it can be costly, but as used for the archive data. And the next storage class in archive, we have the S3 Glacier Deep Archive. The data is very rarely accessed and a very low cost. Suppose if you have the log for contain of the 1 year ago, so you can store in the storage classes. That log cannot be used regularly or once in a while kind of thing. So designed to deliver the 99.9% availability, an ideal alternative to the magnetic tape libraries. Retrieval time within 2 hours. You can retrieve within 2 hours. And same as put API upload to the S3 deep archive, S3 lifecycle management for the automatic migration of objects. And the lastly category we have the data residency and the isolation. There also we have three storage classes. Amazon S3 storage class for AWS dedicated local zone. For local zone we have the storage classes and the one zone infrequent access for local zone that we have edge locations. If I show you what are the local zones, you go to the Amazon S console, and in Amazon console if you go to the EC2 or something like not an EC2, you see the local zone, you can simply go to the region, and local zones are the edge locations that we have. And now if next we have the Amazon S3 on Outpost. So the features store S3 object on your on-premise AWS Outpost environments. This all the written inside the Amazon S3 documentation. So I hope you understand all the storage classes that is needed. You can accordingly use as per requirement and the cost. So the storage class is very useful when you want to store and the particular use case is required for your data inside the S3 bucket, the object we have. And for the demo, suppose we have this S3 bucket. So if we go to the S3, suppose this is our bucket that we have created. Now for existing content you can easily modify the storage class, and you can simply click on that, and after clicking on that you can see the storage class, you can edit it. And by editing it you can simply select any storage class that you wanted to modify for that object. So suppose I want the standard infrequent access, so I can select this and save the changes. Even you can for the new content that you are uploading, for that you can simply go to the bucket, upload one file, add file, suppose this image. So for the property you can see there is a storage class. So while uploading also you can make a changes of your storage class, a default storage class for your S3 bucket object. For the default it is a standard. You can accordingly for the use cases you can make a thing and change the storage class for the particular object that you wanted to. So this is how we can change bucket storage class for any objects. And yeah, while creating you cannot, because this is for the objects. So for any object you can create a storage class or enable it and edit and change any storage class for the object. There is a S3 lifecycle rule that we are going to see in the upcoming video, like how we can change automatically this storage class without going to the edit and click on that for the particular time period. Suppose on 30 days it should be have this S3 standard, and then after the 30 days it should have the standard infrequent access storage class for that data. So we can do that also, so we will see that in the upcoming video. So I hope you understand these concepts of the storage class and learn something new in this video. So previously we have seen S3 storage classes, multiple storage classes from standard to the archive and the glaciers. So now we have seen how we can transition from one storage class to the another manually for any bucket content by uploading or after uploading. But what if I say you can automate this step? Suppose there is a Black Friday sale and you want a data in the standard a S3 standard storage class. So you can have the storage class created a lifecycle rule, like after 30 days move that data to the glacier or archive. So you can automate this stuff using the S3 lifecycle rule. So based on the use cases or a time period you can create this lifecycle rule. So for that you have to go to inside your bucket, and in bucket you have to go to the management. In management you can see the lifecycle rule to manage your objects so that they are stored cost effectively throughout their life cycle configuration. The life cycle, a life cycle configuration is a set of rules that define action that Amazon S3 applies to the group of objects. Life cycle rule will run once per a day. So this runs per a day accordingly based on the cost or the time period you can create it. So use the lifecycle rule to define action you want to perform inside the Amazon S3 to take during the object lifetime, such as a transitioning object to the another storage class, archiving them, or deleting them after a specific period of time. So we can all stuff we can manage inside a lifecycle rule. So create a lifecycle rule. You can like click on demo rule. So for all object, if you wanted to, or a limited scope of the objects, but for now I will use all object. I acknowledge that. So what I wanted to. So there are the life cycle rule actions you can see there, and there is a transition current version of object between storage classes if I want that. So I have to first acknowledge like transition are charged per request, so it's going to charge. So what I want, currently we have the standard in S3 standard. This is a infrequent access storage class, and days after object creation, like suppose 30 days, and after 30 days I want to transition into the standard IA, and after that transition into the suppose one zone IA. So suppose 50 days. After 50 days, I want to be this content to be transitioned into the one zone IA. And after that, I want to store inside the deep archive. I don't want the data regularly or frequently. So like I want 100 after 100 days, it should be transitioned into the Glacier deep archive. So all the data stored inside that is automatically going to be transitioned into this storage classes, so you can manage like this. So how it is going to create the, this is the review for that rule that we are creating action. So objects are uploaded day 0, and now they are moved to the standard IA after 30 days of creation, and after 50 days the object move to the one zone IA, and after 100 days it is going to move to the deep archive. I hope you understand how this transition is going to be worked. And for other action like transition non-current versions of object between storage classes that is not currently used, so you can acknowledge the first, and accordingly add the transition for different storage classes you wanted to. For now I uncheck this, and expire current version of object, like from how many number of days you want to expire the current version of object. Suppose after the 200 days, like they suppose 20 days, after 20 days the data is not needed, so after 20 days you can see the object is going to be expired, but there is a life cycle, so I will keep it as 120, so that our data is going to transition properly. So after 120 days the data objects is versions is going to be expired. And now the another option is permanently delete non-current version of the object if you wanted to for after the particular time period. Even we have the option delete expired object, delete markers, or incomplete multi-part upload. As we have seen, there is a limit of 50 terabyte of upload inside this S3 bucket, so we upload in multi-part. So you can delete that also, the incomplete delete version. So you delete the expired delete marker on the incomplete multi-part upload. You can delete incomplete multi-part upload also after the number of days. So you can like create this life cycle that you wanted to. For non-current version, you can select these options and provide the configuration that you wanted to, like 50 days. Permanently delete that number of versions. All version can be like objects become non-current. After 50, newest or non-current versions are retained. All other non-current versions are permanently deleted. So I hope you understand how we can create a lifecycle rule for the S3 bucket or manage those objects. These are the actions that we can perform for the S3 bucket content or objects. I'm just saying the content. This basically the objects. So the basically the useful is this transitioning from the object between storage classes, and all are the useful that based on your use cases accordingly. For now we will not see because I cannot wait for the 30 days or 1 day even for this video creation. So you can try it out your end and let me know in a comment section if this working or not. Basically it is tried out and it is going to be worked. So this is the review you can verify after creating your rule, and after that you can just create a rule and it is going to be applied to the objects, all objects inside this bucket. So yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you understand the lifecycle rule, how you can automate this stuff and the transitioning into the one storage class to the another. So let's understand what is a requester pay. The feature of Amazon S3 is, suppose you have this bucket, S3 bucket. This is your bucket and you are the owner. Suppose Amitabh is the owner of this bucket and there is created inside the organization, and there are a lot of users inside our Amazon that try to access this bucket, and there is a cost involved to access this bucket. So the in between we have the networking cost that is required to pay for the owner. Amitabh is the owner of this bucket. Owner. We are the owner of this bucket, and to access, the users are requesting to this bucket where the Amitabh is the owner, and there is a networking cost involved in this request, that is Amitabh is going to pay. So the users are requesting from there, so there is a networking cost involved, and after requesting, the bucket access is going to provide it to the Amazon users, the current users inside our Amazon organization or the AWS accounts. So there is a networking cost involved, and the requester pay allow Amitabh, the owner, to reduce this cost and provide this cost to the user. So users is going to responsible to pay this amount, not the owner. Currently the owner is responsible to pay the amount of the networking cost, not the users or the outsiders. So what will happen, this cost is going to be charged to the users that are authenticated with the AWS account. So just duplicating it. So users, and this is the bucket. So this is the bucket we have. Just a second. Sorry. Yeah, this is the bucket we have. So the networking cost now is going to be charge to the user, not to the Amitabh. Currently, the networking charge is charged to the owner of that bucket. But for now, once we enable the requester pay, the networking cost or the requesting cost is going to be charged to the users that they are accessing the content inside my S3 bucket. The owner is not responsible to pay the networking cost, the requesting call. So this is very useful to save a cost as a owner. So for now, for that, you have to go to your S3 bucket that you are created. You can create it accordingly based on your use cases. Suppose this bucket you have created, my first S3 bucket, as we are using this, and you want to create or enable the requester pay. To go the properties, inside properties, scroll down, there is a requester pay features. Once enable the requester pay for the request, data transfer cost, all the data transfer costs for the request, and anonymous access to the bucket is disabled. What it mean, as previously we have enabled the bucket to the public access, so anyone from the world can access this content. If I go to the object URL, you can see this bucket is accessible easily. Now if I go back, as public access is turned off, I mean on, so anyone can the from the world can access this object, we have the bucket policy. But once we enable this requester pay, then all the anonymous access to this bucket is going to be disabled, as this charge is going to be recognized to whom we have to cost. So AWS disable all the public access. So all the authenticated user to the AWS that have AWS account, that only can have the access, or the AWS organization unit and the users inside that only can access the content. So we have to enable it. Just save. Once enabled, all the transfer cost, networking cost, the requester cost is going to be charged to the users that are authenticated with the AWS, not the anonymous access. So if I go again to that object and try to click on object URL, you will see the access denied error. Just refreshing is, you can see the access denied. Anonymous user cannot invoke request against the requester pay buckets. So you have to authenticate as a AWS account. So I hope you understand the drawback of this requester pay, as this is required because we have to charge to the requester. So requester should have the AWS account, then only AWS can charge. Otherwise, then the AWS owner have to pay. You can simply disable it also. Disable it, save the changes. Now if I refresh this, I can easily access the content. Now I hope you understand how you can enable the requester pay and the concept behind it. So I hope you understand easily what is the requester pay, how and how you can enable or disable it. In this video, we are going to learn how we can create a S3 event notification. Like if someone uploaded the files and deleted the content inside your S3 bucket, and you want to receive a email notification, and you want to push the same message to the SQS queue or trigger a Lambda function. So you can perform this events notification, whatever happened inside your S3 bucket. So for that, we will create one bucket for demo. So let's create a demo in account regional namespace. So it can be S3 event notification demo. So I will create this bucket, and once this bucket is created, we will create a SNS topic and subscription. So whatever the content and the action is going to perform inside this bucket, we want to receive a email notification. Suppose I have uploaded the content inside this bucket and want to notify the teams that is have the access of this bucket, so they have subscribed to the SNS topic, so they will receive a email notification whenever the content has modified, uploaded or deleted, so that they are aware of the situation what is happening inside our S3 bucket. And even you can create a lambda function to trigger on a S3 event, and even you have the SQS message, you can provide this message to the SQS and perform another action. Suppose you have uploaded the image and want to create a thumbnail from another service, so you can provide that message to the SQS and SQS will trigger that function. So accordingly, you can create and use it the S3 event notification. For now, we will use S3 event notification for the SNS. So we will receive a email notification whatever the action has happened inside our S3 bucket. So now we will create a SNS topic that is going to send a message to the email subscription. So we can write like demo S3 topic, and next it will ask us to select the FIFO or the standard. We will use the standard, and accordingly we will create the topic. We need to modify the access policy to provide the SNA publish action to the S3 service, so that they can publish a event notification through the SNS, so that the whole workflow work. But now I will do not do that, and I'm not modifying the policy. I will show you the error, then we will modify the policy. Currently it has the allow effect to the AWS principal with these actions, and the resource is the topic we have created and the account ID. So this account ID only have the allow permission. So we will create the topic. Now we have to create a subscription. So we will select a email as a protocol because we want to receive a email notification. If you wanted to SMS, HTTP, email, JSON, Lambda, SQS, you can select accordingly. So I will write an email that where I want to receive a email notification. So this is the email where I want to receive all the notification. So I will just create a subscription. So it will provide the confirmation email to that email that we have written. So you have to subscribe that email. So go to that email, and hopefully in spam folder we will see the subscription. So I have to confirm the subscription that I am ready to receive the notification from this. So I have confirmed that, and now if I go here and refresh this page, so we will get the confirmed status. So now the SNS part is done. Now we will go to the S3, and in properties and I will scroll down, and here we have the event notification. Even we have the event bridge if you want to send all the message to the event bridge and perform the actions, so you can use that also, but for now we will use the event notification, and we can name it as a SNS demo SNS event. And if you wanted to provide the preface, like limit the notification to object with a key string starting with the specified character, so whatever inside the images, so accordingly it will do. And even you can use the suffix, and there are the event types on what you want to receive a notification, like whether the put object, post, copy, multiple upload completed, and I want to receive all object create events. And there is also a all object removal event, means the object is deleted, then also you will receive a email notification. And if the object is restored from the deleted, then also you will receive the email notification. And so there are several trigger or the event that is going to happen inside our S3 bucket, so you can accordingly create event notification for your use case. For now I will just create for the object creation and the object removal. So now I will use the SNS topic, and I will choose the SNS topic that I have created, and I will save the changes. So it is not going to happen because, as I have explained, that the access policy concern, so they're unable to validate the following destination configuration because the S3 have not permission to publish inside the SNS topic. So SNS topic has to allow to that S3 service or anyone to publish. So for now we will go to the access policy inside our topic. So here there is only allow to this account, and we are not allowing any S3 service to do that, but we have to edit it. So we will edit it and provide that policy so that we can allow our S3 to publish event notification. So for that I will use the policy generator. You can simply search about it and go to this URL, and we have to create the SNS topic policy. And we are allowing principal. For now I am allowing everyone, and action what we want to perform is the publish. And yeah, so resource we have to provide this ARN of this topic. So we will copy this, go here, and so this is going to be our resource. We are adding the statement. You can generate the policy and just copy from this curly braces to this, and we have copied that. And now we will go here, and inside our access policy we will edit it. And once I will go here, and there is the end of this statement, we will add the comma. You can remove that existing statement and add this only. This is going to allow everyone. The action is SNS publish and the resource on this. You can specifically allow to the S3 service also. This is a wider permission for the demo, but you have to use the list privilege principle. And I will just save the changes. So now our changes have been saved and all things have sorted. Now if I try to save the SNS event inside our S3, so it will going to save and our things going to be working. So the event notification has been created successfully. So if I scroll, and you can see there is a event notification, and there will be a test event notification has been sent to that email. If I show you in the inbox, so you can see there is a Amazon S3 notification that we have created, and the event is the test event, whether the email is reachable or not. So now if I try to upload things inside our S3 bucket, suppose I click on upload, add files, and suppose I upload the coffee.jpg. So I will upload this. Once the content is uploaded, the file is uploaded, there is a email notification has been provided to that email that we have subscribed through the SNS. So if I go back, here is the email notification for that event and received 0 minute ago, and the event source is AWS S3, region is this, and we have uploaded the coffee.jpg, and the bucket name is this. You can simply check how we are receiving the things inside the email that is happen inside our bucket. You can even create a lambda function to trigger SQS queue to perform the any other actions. And now if I delete this object and want to receive the email notification, like someone deleted the bucket contain and you want to receive the notification, even we are going to receive the IP and the user detail. So now if I go back and see, there is the email notification, just within a second it is going to publish, and event source is AWS S3, there is a time, then there is a event name also, object removed, delete, and the user identity. You can identify who has added and deleted. There is a IP address also, and the key, we are deleted the coffee.jpg, and there's a event notification. And now you will understand what is the use case of the S3 event notification. This is very easy and you can easily set up. And I hope you understand how you can use this. You can try about the Lambda and the SQS. And if you want to delete everything, you can simply go to SNS topic, delete this topic, just click delete me, and delete the subscription also. SNS is like allow us to send messages to the several protocols like email and the SMTP and everything. Now we have to delete the object. So the object is already deleted. You can simply delete this bucket. So this is that bucket. I will do delete and copy the name, paste here, and delete the bucket. And this is how you can perform the S3 event notification using the SNS. So to understand the Amazon S3 encryption, the server-side encryption, first let's create a bucket for that, and later on we will understand all the concepts. So we will use the account regional Amazon like a demo S3 encryption. So it's going to add this namespace suffix. I will just create this bucket and just enable the versioning. I will let you know why. So there are the default encryption, which is a server-side encryption with Amazon S3 managed key. So the keys are managed totally by the AWS. Then managed key servers, key management service keys, the SSE-KMS, or the dual layer service side encryption with the Amazon key management keys. This is just a dual layer security for the Amazon S3 objects. So we have several three options. One option is also SSE-C, which is all going to be enabled by CLI also, only CLI only, not from the console. So let's understand what this. So you can simply go to the documentation, and we have the server side encryption with the Amazon managed key, which is the SSE S3. So the all Amazon S3 bucket have encryption configured by default with this encryption key and the default option for the server side encryption. So the object is going to be encrypted at the server side, not at the client side. If client wanted, they can encrypt there and upload to the S3. So AWS have no option that the data is encrypted or not. Everything is managed by the client. So is there with the Amazon key, which is the SSE S3. Each object is encrypted with the unique key. As an additional safeguard, SSE S3 encrypts the key itself with a root key that is regularly rotates. SSE S3 uses one of the strongest block ciphers available, a 256 byte advanced encryption we call as AES 256 to encrypt your data. For more information, we can read this. Basically, it is used to encrypt the data of your S3 bucket using the S3 manage AWS manage SSE key. And then we have the another server side encryption with AWS Key Management Service, the KMS keys, which is SSE-KMS. which is a server-side encryption with the KMS keys, is provided through an integration of the KMS service with the Amazon S3. We create a key inside the KMS, a key management service, to encrypt the data inside our S3 bucket. You have more control over your keys, so you can manage the permission and the keys requirement based on your condition. So for example, you can view a separate keys, edit the control policy, who can access, who cannot, and the encryption. Follow the keys in CloudTrail, you can follow that. Additionally, you can create and manage customer managed keys or use AWS managed keys that are unique to you, yourself, your service, and region. So you can either create your own customer managed keys based on your control policy, and even you can use the AWS managed key for the particular service. And the next we have the dual layer server side encryption with the AWS key management service, KMS, using the same key or any key that you create or customer manage. And then it is a server side encryption similar to SSE-KMS, but dual server side encryption applies two independent layers of the AES 256 encryption. You can learn about it on Google. Instead of one layer, first using the KMS data encryption key, why we have the one another layer, then using the separate Amazon S3 manage encryption key. So firstly using the KMS key, then the Amazon S3 manage key. Basically the dual layer of encryption more secure your data. Because both layer of encryption are applied to an object on the server side, you can use a wide range of AWS services and tools to analyze S3 while using an encryption method that can satisfy compliance requirement for your data with multiple layer encryption. So you have to use any of this based on your use cases, and this is one that is now disabled from the console. It is only enabled from the CLI with server-side encryption, customer provided keys, SSE-C, which is a customer provided keys. You manage the encryption key, and Amazon S3 manages the encryption as it write to the disk to encryption when you access your object. So you have the customer and you have the encryption key, you have encrypted and uploaded to the S3. So you have to manage that, and you can enable and tell the AWS that I'm using the customer provided SSE key. So that's all the encryption that we can see here. So this is the default version. We do not have to do anything. Just this is the default option. Then we have the KMS, which is a SSE-KMS. You can select this. So we have the choose from your AWS KMS key or enter the ARN. I will choose. There is a default key for the S3 that automatically created by the AWS, which is a AWS managed. You can use these keys or you can create your own also. And the next we have the dual layer server side encryption. You can select the keys accordingly based on your use cases. Even for now, I will use this SSE-KMS. This is the default encryption that we are enabling. Means every object that is going to be uploaded is by default going to have this encryption. But for now, I will just go with the default encryption with the SSE S3, the AWS managed. I will later let you know how you can modify. So I will create this objects, I mean bucket. So once the bucket is created, I will just upload files like this. Suppose these three files. And once this three file is uploaded, you can see in properties, we have the server side encryption. If we can specify an encryption keys, override the bucket setting to the default encryption, like we can select any of this and we have to provide the keys. But for now I will just upload it without an encryption with the default encryption. And once this file is uploaded, as we have enabled the versions, you can see now if I modify the default encryption in properties, go here and then you select the KMS and choose the selected key that AWS provide, and I will just save the changes. This is blocked, yeah, customer provide key, you can uncheck that also. So once I save this, it is going to create, I think, another version of objects. So I think this is not for that, but this is the use case. You can enable and disable or modify the default encryption for your objects. So we are using now the KMS keys, and even you can transition through the dual layer. You can select that KMS keys and just save the changes. So once the changes is saved, you can see the objects now going to have that unique KMS keys, like a dual layer security for your objects. So this is how you can modify. Even while uploading, you can provide a specific encryption for objects that you are uploading. While uploading, you just go to the properties. In properties, you can specify an encryption key, override bucket setting. So I want to use this. So default was this, but now I'm going to the SSE S3. So this is how you can also do for your any objects. So accordingly to your use cases, you can create an encryption that you wanted to. You can simply go to the this object and check the permissions and the object overview. I think, yeah, that's the thing that I want to show you, that this is the encryption type. And for other objects, if I show you and go inside this, so this have the same encryption type, but you can modify from this properties and the objects. So whatever the default object is going to be uploaded from now is going to have the dual layer security server-side encryption with the KMS, the dual layer. And I hope you understand how you can create bucket and attach the encryption keys, server-side encryption with three options, and the fourth one also. And you have also understand all the difference between these encryptions, and even with the client side and the server side. So this is how you can create the bucket and enable the encryption. Now you can simply go to the bucket and delete that bucket. Go demo, and first we have to empty it. So just permanent delete, paste it, and empty it. So we have this exit, then go to the demo S3 encryption, delete it, and copy the name. And once copy, delete the bucket. So yeah, so this is all the demo related to the S3 encryption, server side encryption. In this video, we are going to see Amazon S3 cross-origin resource sharing. We will do the hands-on and try to figure out what are the cause error and how we allow the origin to access the resources in between multiple origins. In simple terms, if I have to explain the cause cross-origin resource sharing, so suppose this is your Amazon S3 bucket 1, and suppose S3 1. So this is your bucket 1, and now you have similarly bucket 2, and both are enabled with the S3 static website hosting, and both have the different endpoints. And suppose it contains index.html and the CSS file for the index.html. Okay, so this is the bucket 1 content, and then we have the bucket 2, which is also have the index.html and the CSS related to it, and even we can remove the CSS from here. So it has the index.html here also, and both are enabled the static website hosting. So they have the domain like http://example.com. Suppose in AWS we have the Amazon URL, and this is the website hosting for this. And similarly we have the other dot example.com. You can imagine both the URL with the Amazon static website URL for the static website. So these are the both URL. And now in the S3 bucket contain, we have the index.html, and now we have to access the index.html from bucket 2 to the bucket 1. If it is inside the bucket 1, we can easily access it and we can view that page. But if it is stored in the second bucket and this different domain, and we have to internally request to that page, so that where the cross origin resource sharing comes in a phase that allow us to resource sharing between the multiple origins like example.com and the other example.com without any error and the delay. So this helps us to get the access of resources in between multiple origins. And sometimes we have seen the cross course error, which is a cross origin resource sharing error, which is blocked by the origin. So suppose this bucket doesn't allow this origin to access the index.html, so there will be the course error going to be occur, and you can visit from the developer console. And similarly, if the second bucket and the second origin want to access the content from this S3 bucket or the example.com, they can internally request and the program. So we can define a script inside the, which is the Python script or the JavaScript. We can internally request fetch the request from this URL like example.com and get the specific HTML and the CSS file. So they are requesting internally from the different origin. So where the cross origin resource sharing allow us to share the resources in between both without any error. So we have the cross origin policy. So we are allowing the headers or the endpoint and the URL, that these are the origin that is allowed to access from this URL. So in the, suppose for example in this bucket, and we want to allow this URI or the URL, so we can define in S3 bucket, in this S3 bucket, that this origin is allowed to access the content from this bucket. So this is what the theory related to the cross origin ratio sharing. And even you have seen while developing some platform and the application, the course error, that the course error has been blocked the access. So this all we are going to see in this video. So let's start the hands-on. So we will create one bucket, and this is going to be account regional. So it can be S3 cross origin. We can define like demo cross origin. So this will be our origin bucket, and we can just like S3 origin, and we can disable, keep the things empty, just like default setting. Just uncheck all the public access, as we are going to make this website and the bucket as a static website hosting, so that we can get an endpoint, and I will show you the course error and the concept. So disable the versioning and just create the bucket. And if you don't know how to do the static website hosting, you can watch my previous video, or also I will cover in this video also. So for detail, you can watch the previous video. I will go fast in this video for the static website. So I will upload the content that is needed to host in this. So I will get the style.css index, extra style CSS, and the extra page, and the coffee.jpg. So these are all files that is needed. I will upload it and just wait for it and close it. And now we have the static website. So for that, we need to go inside the properties, and in the end of the page you will see the static website hosting. Edit it and just enable it, and mention the index dot html page and just save it. And after you save it, make sure you go to the permission and you have the bucket policy to allow the get object. So I will add the one statement which is for the S3, and action we want to perform the get object, sorry, object. So this will be the get object, and the resource we want to provide to this ARN of bucket. So I will add the resource for the object, and object inside this bucket. So slash star all the objects, I will add the resource. And for principal, we are allowing all the accounts, and we are just saving this. So now we have the public access. And now if I go to the properties and go inside this URL and the endpoint that we have got. So you can see we have deployed the static website. So the website look like this, and the cross origin is working that because in the bucket one that we have created, this bucket, we have the extra page.html inside it. So we are not making a cross origin request sharing and the resource sharing. We have the content that we have defined in the same bucket. That's why we can access the page. So once this removed, it is going to give the cross error. So I will show you that also. So for that, I will first show you the code inside it. So this is our index.html that we are using. So we are fetching the extra page.html that is inside the same bucket. That's why we are able to fetch it. And now if we update this URL, definitely we are going to get the error. So before that, firstly we will delete the extra page.html. So this is the extra page.html. So just I will remove it. So I will delete it with a permanent delete. And once it deleted, so the file is deleted, and if I refresh this URL, you will see the 404 error. But this is not error that I want to show you. I will show you the cross origin access. So for that, we need to create another bucket. So we will create another bucket where we will upload that file, and then we will update this fetch URL so that we can get the cross origin resource access error. Then we will solve that error also. Okay. And then we have the account regional namespace recommended. We can define demo S3 cross origin other bucket. So we can define like this. Then we will go like this, disable it and acknowledge, just like we have done for the bucket one. We will also do it as the static website hosting. So we will upload that file that is needed, which is an extra page, and we will open it, upload it, and close it. And now we will go to the properties. Inside properties, we have to enable the static website hosting. So we have enabled it. We can mention any name, just index.html. We will use it as a reference. We are not actually deploying an website hosting. So we have done that. In permission, we have to add a bucket policy so that we can get a public access. And in S3, we have to allow the get object. And in get object, this is the resource. So we will add a resource, a box object, then we will paste it, and inside all the content. And for the principal, we have to allow star, and we will just save the changes. And now we can access the bucket object with the object URL. If you see, you can see this is the cross origin delivered page that we have seen. So we have done deployed both of the bucket, and now I will show you the cross origin resource blocked error. So for that, we need this endpoint of that bucket. So in bucket one, and we are going to copy this origin URL. So this is what origin URL look like. And in our index.html, in our first bucket, I will just update this URL to request the extra page dot html, and not this endpoint. We need to have the second endpoint bucket. So we need to go to second bucket, and we will need to copy this bucket URI, not the first bucket URI. Yeah, so this is the that we have to update, and I will upload inside the bucket one this index.html. So go to the bucket and objects, and we will upload it. So we have updated this the index.html. We will upload it, and now we will get the cross origin resource access error. So this is what the page we have deployed, and if I refresh this page, you can see these are waiting for the cross origin response. And if I go to this URL, I mean the developer console, you can see there is a cross error, so access to fetch. So we have the blocked by cross course policy. No access control allow origin header is present on the requested resource. So I hope you understand. Now we are requesting from the another bucket and it has given the course error that we have shown. And now if you have to solve this error, what we have to do, we just have to copy this URL of the static web page of the first bucket that we have deployed, and we need to go inside the our code that I have written. So inside I have written a course policy.json. So we just need to update this allowed origin sad because we are allowing the bucket 1 origin to access the content inside the bucket 2. So we need the or allowed origin. So we are allowing the bucket 1 origin, and make sure you remove the slash from the end because it is required to remove, else it will not work. And we are allowing the header as the authorization and the method is the get. We are requesting, and accordingly the allowed origin, the URL that is allowed, and the max age second and the expose header. So we will just copy this. You can use the repo URL inside the description and get all the codes from the GitHub. So we will copy this and we will go inside the second bucket, and in second bucket we will go inside the permission. Inside permission we have the cross origin resource sharing. So we can edit this and allow that origin. So these are the origin that is allowed, and this is the origin which is this URL. And then we will save the changes. And once the changes is saved, and now if I go the URL where the static web page is hosted on the bucket 1 and refresh this, you will see the cross origin content has been delivered without any course error. So I hope you understand how we have gone through all the process of the course and the different bucket deployment and the static website hosting with the public access and the cross origin resource sharing without any error. So I hope whenever you got the course error in your interview questions and the real application, you will understand what is the exact error and how you can solve that error. So make sure you follow these all the instruction that we have done inside this video. Even I have created a GitHub repo where you can get all the files that I have used inside it. And I'm hoping that you learned something new in this video, and drop your feedback in comment section and let me know in the comment section what makes you difficult in this video to understand. And I think according to me I have explained with a beginner friendly and whatever the best possible way. And that's all for this video. And if you want to delete all the content, you can simply empty the bucket and delete it. So let's understand why we need the MFA delete for our AWS S3 objects. So when we're working with the AWS S3 versioning in Amazon S3 bucket, so we can optionally add another layer of security by configuring the S3 bucket MFA delete, multi-factor authentication delete. So you have to provide one MFA code to delete the bucket objects. So when you do this, the bucket owner must include two forms of authentication in any request to delete the versions or change the versioning state of the bucket. So the MFA delete requires additional authentication for either of the following operation. Either for permanently deleting your S3 bucket object, you have to provide the MFA code, or changing the versioning state of your bucket, either the turning off or turning on. And MFA delete requires two forms of authentication together: your security credential as a root user and the serial number, space, and the 6-digit displayed MFA code. Whether you have used the like a Google Authenticator, so you have to first enable and set up the MFA to your root account, and the root account is needed to set up the MFA delete. And anyone from the AWS account, any AWS IAM user cannot set up this. So the root user is only responsible for this to set up. So firstly, you have to log in as a root user. So I have logged into my AWS console as a root user. Now you have to create one bucket, and you can select the global namespace and write S3 MFA Delete Amitabh. So I get the unique name, and you have to enable the bucket versioning as it is required for the MFA Delete, and just create the bucket. And once the bucket is created, I will show you why we need the MFA Delete. So once we upload one file, suppose this architecture image, and this image is going to upload, and once this is uploaded, if someone have to delete this bucket, they can easily go to delete. So this is creating the delete marker. Once you turn on the show version and try to delete it, so it going to delete the permanently. But if you want to restrict this action for anyone from the AWS console and the CLI, you can use the MFA delete. So they have to provide the MFA code to delete this architecture. I mean, you can enable it, and for enabling it, you need a MFA code. So no one cannot delete the bucket objects without your permissions. So you can enable it. For that, go to the properties. You can see this is the bucket versioning is enabled, and click on edit. You can see a multi-factor authentication delete, an additional layer of security that requires multi-factor authentication for changing bucket versioning setting, permanently delete object version. To modify bucket MFA delete setting, you use the CLI SDK or Amazon S3 API. So we cannot enable or disable it from this UI console. We need a S3 REST API command or a CLI command to to enable and disable this multi-factor authentication delete for S3 object. So I have written this like a CLI command. First, we have to configure as creating a profile that is going to use for this. So I will just open one Cloud Shell here, and below you can see the Cloud Shell. Open the terminal, and once this terminal is open, click, we have to paste that command. So AWS configure. So we need a AWS access key ID for the root account, not a IAM user. So I hope you understand the root account is only can help with this, no one other than that. So go to IAM, and we have to create the security credential. Even you can click on your account name, there will be the security credential. Click on that, and you can see I have set up one or two multi-factor authentication device. You have to set up this first. You can watch my previous videos and set up this MFA device first, and now you have to create one access key ID. Yes, I understand, as a root account is not a practice to create the root access key IDs, but for this purpose we need both of them for the root account only, and I will delete after the video is recorded because there is a risk issue. And I will copy this ID and go here, and once the terminal is prepared, just a second. Yeah, so I have to provide this, and then again the secret access key. I will paste this region US East 1, this same. And now we have to enable through the command. So the command is AWS S3 API. We are using bucket versioning, bucket, and the bucket name, and we have to provide the bucket name. So this is our bucket. We can click on this and simply copy the name. And once we copy, we just have to paste here. So this is our bucket name, and the versioning is enabled, and status in enabled, and the MFA delete is enabled. We are enabling it, and the MFA device ARN. So we have to provide the MFA device ARN. So for that, I'm using this ARN as my like Google Authenticator. So this is what I'm going to use. I will just paste the ARN. You have to use your own and we have to provide the code. So for that, I will use a Google Authenticator. You can even use the Google Authenticator if you have set up the Google Authenticator or anyone where you get the code for logging into your root account. So I will use this, and for this I'm getting the code 265412. So I will use this command and go here. I will paste here, and if it works, so the code is invalid. I have to use another code. So just a second. We will use another code 704200. So every 30 seconds the code is updated, so you have to use the updated code. And if it works, so it works. And now if I go to my S3 bucket in properties and refresh this page, you will definitely see S3 versioning and the MFA delete is enabled. You can see this option, and you can see this is cannot be disabled via the GUI, and click on cancel. And now if I try to delete any object, like while turning on the show version, you will see there is you can't delete object versions because multi-factor authentication is MFA delete is enabled for this bucket. First, we have to disable it, then only we can delete the bucket object. So I hope you understand how you can add a extra security layer of your S3 objects. And to disable it, we have to use the same command, but we have to just change the code. And here we have to write disable. Like we are disabling that. Sorry, not this command. We have to use this command. Same, the bucket name, and then we have versioning configuration. Status is enabled, version is enabled, MFA delete disabled, and the ARN of the device. And now we have to provide the MFA code. So for that also we will use this Google Authenticator. So I will use the code. Code will be the 846921. And I will just use this, copy this, go here and paste this. And once it is disabled, you can go to your S3, refresh this page, go to properties. Now you can see the MFA delete is disabled. Now if you try to delete the bucket object, you can permanently delete the objects. So I hope you understand how you can set up the MFA delete for your devices, the bucket objects they contain inside your bucket. So it is very easy to enable and disable. I will provide those command into the description and you can try it out. And the next step is to delete the access key and the ID because it is not recommended to create as a root account. So I hope you understand the root account is necessary to create and enable this MFA delete, and anyone from the root account cannot enable or disable the MFA delete for your S3 bucket. And even you can empty this bucket, go to your bucket, this is the bucket, empty this bucket, permanently delete. And once you empty the bucket, you can delete this bucket also. As such, we have completed a demo. You can try it out your end also. Yeah. So let's understand why we need the AWS S3 server access logging. So suppose this is your S3 bucket and this is the bucket, and some you have uploaded your bucket in content inside it, suppose lot of content, and you want to track what is happening, what are the events is happening, who have done that, the timing of that event. upload, delete, or whatever the action you have done inside your S3 bucket, you can track inside the another S3 bucket. So you can simply create the access logging. Whatever the events is going to happen in this bucket is going to be tracked or like written inside this uh, another bucket. Suppose this is bucket A, and yeah, this is the bucket A, and this is the bucket B. So whatever the events is happening inside the bucket A, you can make a event log of the inside the bucket B. So this is what a access log means. And there is one warning that you have to create two buckets. Suppose for bucket A and the bucket B, and you want to log the content and the events happening inside bucket A into the bucket B. But there is one issue, you have to separately use two buckets. You cannot use the same bucket to create the access log. So whenever you try to do that, it will go in a loop. Mean you whatever the events is happening, you are logging into the bucket. So this going to be done in loop. Mean you will be in like a trouble, because whenever the event is created, suppose one I have uploaded the content in this bucket, so it is going to be like a tracked in this bucket. So event log is going to be created in this bucket. Suppose you use the same bucket to create the like uploading content and for the access logging. So we have to provide the destination bucket for the access log. So if you provide the destination and the source bucket same, so once the event is uploaded, I mean content is uploaded, so there is one event is created, so that event is also going to be uploaded in this same bucket. So this is going to be triggered in loop. So this is not recommended for you. This is the critical warning. Never ever use the same bucket to create the access log. Always create one separate bucket to store the log for your S3 bucket. So that's all for the theory. Let's do the hands-on. Create one bucket where we will store the logs. So we can provide like this account regional. So S3 access log bucket. So we are creating this bucket to store the logs for another bucket. So I will create this bucket, and once this bucket is created, we will store the logs here. And you can create another bucket that you that for you create the logs. But for now I will use any of this bucket that I have. So I will use this bucket. So I will use this bucket where I will upload some content, and this logs is going to be created to that bucket that we have created as 3 access log. Okay, so for that you have to go to the properties of your main bucket, source bucket, where you will scroll and there will be the server access logging. This option we have to enable. So click on edit, and we have to enable the destination where we want to store the logs. So browse the bucket that we have created. Like this is the bucket that we are created. I will choose the destination. You can see the destination region and the bucket name and the prefix if you wanted to, like the folder where will be it created, so logs. So all the data is going to be stored inside this. So for now I don't need that, so I will use this bucket name only. And there is two key format for the log object. First is this kind of this, so it will store like this: year, then month, the date, and kind of this unique string. Even we have second option that is going to store this kind of object key, but for now I will use the default and I will save the changes. And once the changes are saved, we will perform some actions. But you can see there is a server access logins enabled, and we can perform some actions like we will upload some files. Suppose this file is uploaded, I will upload this file, and I will upload another file, or I will just upload one folder like this. If I upload this folder, Yes, I trust, and I will upload this. And this all logs event is going to be created in that bucket. It will take around 10 minutes or a 15 minutes for the first time to create the log inside those buckets. So if I refresh, there will nothing because it need first time kind of cold start that we have in Lambda functions. So it will take around 15 minutes, max 15 minutes. So we have to wait for that. Until that, we can perform actions. We will upload more files, so all these going to be logged inside that. We will upload more pictures, so we will go inside this, and I will upload more images, and is all this action going to be tracked or logged inside that bucket. I will show you that also once the log are created in that. So yeah, this is all the events I have created, and I will delete this. So this is one event that I'm creating. So I will enable the versions. So just delete this version and the permanent delete. These are all events that I'm making to have the logs inside that bucket. So we have done all the actions that can be logged inside this S3 bucket. So it will take around 10 to 15 minutes, and until we have to wait the logs to be created. Yeah, so we can check the permission as once we enable the access logging bucket policy have to update it, but we have to check inside this bucket. Yeah. So for the access log bucket that we have created, the bucket policy is going to be updated. Like we are allowing this service for to have the actions to perform put object. So it will create the object inside that bucket. That's why the action is enabled or allowed to this service, logging service of S3. So this is the resource we have to perform the allow action for the logging access. See, bucket policy is automatically updated when we allow the access logging. So yeah, that's it. We have to now wait here to object to be appear. So we will wait for around 15 to 10 minutes. So now we have one log created inside our AWS S3 access log bucket that we are configured as a destination for logging. So there is one log has been created around waiting about 30 minutes. So it takes some time 30 minutes to 1 hour also. So you have to wait for first time, and after that it will make a frequent logging. So you can open it as like this, and you can see the bucket where on we are enable the access logging, the date and the timing, the IP address of the users. So there is a status code as 200, and the browser and the all the detail related to that action. So this is how you can enable the access logging for any bucket to the another bucket. You can see the another object has been created. You can similarly open that, and you can see all the actions that I have performed during that. So I have uploaded the content, someone deleted also. So all the actions you can perform with the IP, the timing and the date for your audit purposes. Yeah, that's it how you can enable the server access logging. And now you can simply turn off this using going to the properties. In properties, go to the edit service access logging, and you can disable it. Just save the changes, and all the actions will not be logged into that bucket. And now you can empty this bucket and delete this. Simply go to this and empty this bucket. Select the permanent delete and empty this bucket. And once this bucket is empty, you can simply select or delete this bucket. Copy this, paste it. Yeah. So this is what I want to share with you all about the server access logging for your bucket, and the warning is clear. Do not use the same bucket for logging the logs inside the bucket. So let's understand why we need a pre-signed URLs for Amazon S3 private bucket. So this is your bucket, S3 bucket, which is in US East 1 suppose, and which is a private bucket. A private bucket you cannot access outside the AWS with object URL or anything. You need a pre-signed URL. Mean what? You have a pre-signed configuration like with signed with your AWS credential to access the object inside the Amazon S3. So how we can do that? So the idea is that we have the pre-signed URL created for the object. So object is going to be accessed via the pre-signed URL for a particular duration, like in minutes or the hours. So you have to provide access of your images to your friends. So you can get this pre-signed URL for a particular time period, which is going to be signed with your AWS credential so that they can access your files and visit. Even your bucket is private. That's where the requester, I mean, pre-signed URL is needed, where your bucket is private. And this is very like easy step that you can create. So after you can have the duration of minutes or the like hours. So you can go to your bucket and just create one bucket in S3 for this demo. I will just create S3 in account regional namespace S3 pre-signed URL demo. So I will just create this bucket. You can see we have blocked all the public access. So this bucket is not public. So if I upload the content any, like suppose this architecture, and once it is uploaded, I will show you one thing that we can open this using that open button. We have the same path from here, like the proper path. This is the pre-signed URL with configured with our AWS credentials so that we can access this file. But what if you want to provide access to anyone else apart from uh, your friends and the colleague, and inside that you can use the pre-signed URL. But if you go inside that and click copy the object URL and open the tab and paste this, you can see there is a access denied error, means the bucket is private, you cannot access it. So to access that bucket, you can simply create a pre-signed URL. For creating a pre-signed URL, you have to go to that object. In object you have the action. In action you can see the pre-signed URL. You can provide suppose 1 minute, 1 minute creating a pre-signed URL. So we get the pre-signed URL, copying the pre-signed URL. If I open the incognito mode, I will access that file without any access. Mean the bucket is private, we can easily access this file. You can see the path is same, and there is a pre-signed URL with my AWS credential. So after 1 minute you will see that the file, the permission is gone with the pre-signed URL. So after 1 minute I will go to that incognito tab, and even we will see that the expiration is properly working of that pre-signed URL or not. So till now we can check this also in the incognito mode, whether this also provide the access. So you can see that is the pre-signed URL, and after 1 minute if I go to that URL, refresh this. So let's wait for 1 minute, and we will see the access is going to be discarded and removed once the pre-signed URL timing is over. So this is very useful if we have to provide access to anyone apart from your AWS account. You can check the use cases, pre-signed URL S3 use cases. So the use cases can be like direct to S3 upload. You want to provide anyone to access to your S3 content for submission if you wanted to. So there are a lot of use cases for the pre-signed URL. Basically, once your private bucket have the private bucket and want to provide access to someone for a particular duration, you can have the pre-signed URL. So I hope you understand that. And if I go here and I refresh this, you can see the access denied, error is going to provide, request has expired, and that this is the timing of that expire. So I hope you understand how you can provide the pre-signed URL for any object to anyone in from the internet without making your bucket public. So let's understand what is an access point and why we need it actually. So suppose you have users. This is the team. You have a team inside your AWS organization. Suppose the organization unit. So this is a dev team or a DevOps team. Suppose. So this is a DevOps team, and similarly we have the similarly we have dev and DevOps and the QA team. So this is the QA team, and they have the S3 bucket. So this is what we have S3. So this is what our S3 bucket look like, and we have, suppose this is our S3 bucket, and in our S3 bucket I can say this is our S3 bucket, and S3 bucket, suppose we have slash slash what we say DevOps for the DevOps team, and slash QA. So we have a DevOps data for the DevOps team and the QA data for the QA team. So both access this content according to their use cases, and they have different use cases. So managing these multiple teams and the data at a scale, and don't want to interfere in other data inside our S3 bucket, so we can use the access point that will provide the separate DNS name to separate team to access only those data and perform actions with the security. So the DevOps team can only access the DevOps data, and then we have the QA team can have the QA data with a proper security and access point. So this is what we need for the access point. And if you are figuring outing like how we can create the access point for anything, so just go to the S3 bucket. You first have to create one bucket, create bucket, account regional namespace can be S3 access access point demo. Just create this bucket, and once you create this bucket, create two folder like DevOps for the DevOps team. And once it is created, I will create oh, just a second, I have to create one another QA for the QA data, quality assurance. And once this folder is created, I will upload some content inside it. So I will upload architecture in the DevOps team, just a demo, nothing specific in this. I will close this, and I will go to the QA. Inside QA, upload another file, and I will upload here this backbench AI and upload it. And once it is uploaded, you can see we have the both the folder, and then you can go to the access point. And access point, you can create one access point, so it can be demo access point that we are creating for our demo. So for VPC, you can use VPC for the private, mean no internet access, but I am using the internet, but I am blocking all the public access as it is for the internal team. You can use the VPC also. Now you have to provide the access point policy, which is a JSON document that the users, what can they can access inside this demo and the access point. Suppose the DevOps team can only access the DevOps data, so we can define that in the statement. So in a statement, you can define demo like policy, whatever you want to define. In principle, you can define star for all everyone, or I mean like this, or a specific DevOps team. So you have to provide the ARN. Effect is allow what action we want to provide. So we are providing to the S3. So S3 and what action? Get object suppose. So get object. So this action want to perform on which resource? So this is the a access point demo, but I need a bucket resource ARN. So I will go to the bucket and I will go to the objects. I need this ARN. So going to ARN and we have this demo, demo, yeah, access point demo. So we have to copy the ARN, and after that we have to go inside this, and for resources we can even add from this also, but yeah, but objects, we have to select the object, we have to copy paste that ARN and where we want to perform the action. So for DevOps you can simply write DevOps, and if you want to provide all you can add for all also. So for now I will add a DevOps, like a DevOps team only can access. So I will add this. So this is what I mean, I have to update this also, as a DevOps is a folder. So all content from the DevOps. So this error should be gone. And once this is created, principal you have to define as a DevOps team. You want to provide access to that. And if I say create an access point, so the access point is have the error. Let's see. I will edit the policy. So what is the exact issue? We will create a statement again. So we will add a service S3 get object, and resource is the S3 object. So we need an ARN of the object. So we can simply provide the bucket name also. So for bucket name, we have this bucket name, and we can replace this with the bucket and the object name that we wanted, our DevOps. Just check the DevOps is there or not. So DevOps and the slash. So you can perform like this and add a resource. And let's see what is the exact error. Unsupported resource ARN policy. The ARN is not supported for the resources policy attached to the type S3 access point 2. So we have to provide like star, something like that. No, this is do not work. The empty object principle. Okay, I think this is the error. No. So this is the error, unsupported resource ARN. If I do like this, will this work or not? So the issue is that we need to provide the resource ARN as the access point ARN. I forgot, sorry for that. So you have to copy the ARN and paste here as a resource, and you have to provide like object, then the DevOps, and the inside all the content. So there is no error right now. So this is how you have to provide the policy, and just save this. And there is one access denied error. So the issue is that I cannot figure out the why we are getting the access denied error. You can use the diagnose console error from the Amazon queue. It will guide you throughout if you get the errors. As this is the correct way to create the access point. And if you do not want to create a policy just for the demo, as just for the example, if I go to the demo access point and This is the objects that we have in Amazon S3. This is our Amazon S3. If I go to the bucket, and the bucket we have this demo access point, go to the access point. In access point, we have created the access point and it has the alias and internet access. We have the copy array, we can edit the policy. This is how we create the like a demo access point. We have the paths provided there also. We have the properties and the permissions. You can figure it out and let me know what is the exact issue. Whoever solve this issue, I will give them $20 AWS credit. So if you figure out what is the exact issue, what is the cause of that, you can tell me on LinkedIn or any platform where we are connected. You can even message me for this. So yeah, so you get the $20 AWS credit if you solve this issue and provide the demo. Like this is how we can create an access point for this demo. Like both the team can access the simultaneous data with the DNS name. And let's accept this channel and solve this issue. You will get the $20 AWS credit. So congratulations if you have completed this AWS S3 one-shot video. I hope you learned something new in this video and completed all these concepts and doesn't face any difficulty while learning. If you have faced, you can let me know in a comment section. I'm happy to improve whatever the suggestion you provide and let me know what next you want to see on the YouTube channel and I'm happy to make that. Yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you learned something new. See you in the next one. Jai Hind. Bye.